Good morning, Facebook. This is Sandy and O, and I come to you to give you a quick update on why I have not been here. At first, it was just because, you know, pure laziness. And then at the beginning of December, my daughter got sick for like a week. She didn't have COVID, but she did get sick. And then a week after that, when she went back to school, the school had a COVID case, so she had to be home for 2 weeks. And my husband was diagnosed with congestional heart failure, and he went into the hospital like right before Christmas. And then he went back into the hospital the week of New Year's and came home the week of New Year's. On January 9th, my husband suffered a heart attack and a seizure, which put him into the hospital, and he was comatose, which he never woke up from. He never woke up from the coma, and he died on January 13th. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is fresh for me. I miss him so much. He was my best friend. He was my confidant. He knew what to say, when to say it, at the time to say it. And I'm going to miss all that. We have two girls. We have two girls, and they're 10 and they're 1. And our plans was never for me or him to raise these girls by ourselves. We always wanted to raise our girls together. I'm sorry. We always wanted to raise our girls together. He also has a son. I think he's 26 or 27 years old. On the 9th, we had went out for the day. We took the girls out to go see puppies because we thought we were going to buy them. Well, we were going to buy them a puppy, or get them a puppy. We came home. We went to Walmart. I went got food for dinner. I came home. I cooked dinner. We ate dinner. Actually, he ate dinner twice. He sat down. He watched the Rams game. He talked to me for a little bit about little things. He was talking about buying a home, and if we win the lottery, what would we do with it? Little stuff like that. Just little things. I got a phone call from my sisters, and I'm sitting on the phone, and I'm talking to them. And then he was sitting in a chair. Looked like he was dozing off to go to sleep. We have a 1-year-old who can walk very well. She's been walking since she was 8.5 months old. So she's walking pretty well. And so he would sneak upstairs so that he can either take a shower or go to bed or whatever, because he knew that if she was up there, he could not do that. So he snuck upstairs, and I was like, oh, he done snuck himself upstairs. Five minutes later, I heard a thud. I heard him fall. And at first, I wasn't going to go upstairs and check, because he could have dropped something. It couldn't have not been him falling. But something said, get up and go see what's going on. So as I'm going up the steps, I'm calling his name. He's not answering me, and that's not like him. Even if he would have answered me unknowingly, like, why are you calling me? But he would have answered me. So I got up there and he's laying face down on the floor. And I proceed to shake him, like, stop playing, because I thought he was playing at first. And then when I shook him the third time, I realized his body was clammy. He was wet. So then I started to freak out. And I ran downstairs to call 911 because I had left my actual cell phone downstairs. So I ran downstairs to call 911 to come and get him. Well, come to help him, rather. It took them a minute to resuscitate him. Actually, they had pronounced him dead at home. And then they told me no, they got a heartbeat, they got a pulse. They took him out in an ambulance, took him to the hospital. When I get to the hospital, they tell me, they ran a brain scan on him and he has massive brain damage for not receiving oxygen for a period of time to his brain. He also had a seizure, which my husband had never had a seizure before, ever in life. Don't even know where that came from. So I told them to do whatever they could to save his life. They pretty much didn't have hope for him from the time he rolled into the hospital. They had been telling me all that time that he really that he wasn't going to make it. But I was adamant about them trying to save his life because I felt like I couldn't count him out. I could not say that he wasn't going to make it. I just couldn't say those words out of my mouth. My husband was 48 years old. So I couldn't say he wasn't going to make it. I had to believe some hope in my heart that he was going to make it through this. So the treatment that they tried, it's called hypothermia treatment, whereas they bring the body down to a certain temp and then they raise it back up to try to get the brain to pretty much react, like get it to say, okay, my body's too cold. Let me trigger my brain, let the brain trigger the body to warm up on its own. And it didn't. When they first tried to do it, when they first went back to raise his temperature back up, he coded about 2:00 that morning. But every day I went to the hospital, I asked him to fight. I had to ask him to fight. I couldn't just throw in the towel. I really did not want to be the person. I didn't want to have to pull the ventilator away and say that, that he was let him die that way. Because I felt like if I would have done that, I would have just kept saying, did I do the right thing? Should I have pulled the plug? Was it too early? Oh, I just had a bunch of questions. So on January 13th at 3:20, he decided to go on his own. I was coming to the hospital to visit him because I didn't go that morning so that I can go see my kids. And because my kids hadn't been home. I live an hour away from my family. So my family, excuse my hair, I'm sorry. My family lives an hour away from me. So my kids were in the city, whereas I live on the outskirts of the city. So I went to the hospital. I went to the hospital, and on my way to the hospital, I said, I was praying to God, and I was saying that if he could not bring him back with a good, meaningful part of life, to just go ahead and take him. If he couldn't come back to me and talk to me like I'm talking to you, at least be able to move his arms so that he can hold his kids. Even if he couldn't walk, but be able to actually live, I would have, that's to me is some meaning of life. But if you're laying in the bed all day, every day, you can't talk, you can't walk, people feeding you, that's not a meaningful part of life. You can't live life like that. That's miserable for the person. That's hard on, it would have been hard on me and my girls. And hard on him too, because of the fact that even though it would have been miserable, but he wanted to have, be active with his girls. So that would have been hard as well. So, when I got upstairs to the hospital, they had people in his room, but they weren't like coding him or anything. So I was like, what is going on? I instantly felt something was wrong. And I'm like, what's going on? And it was like, is he a do not resuscitate? And I was like, no, he's not a DNR. Why? And she was like, because he doesn't have a pulse. And I'm like, oh my God. He had some family that was coming to visit him. And I was like, oh my God, his family's coming. He needs to be alive for that. I don't know why I thought that, but that was what came to my head. And the doctor, and so the nurses started to resuscitate, started to do CPR. And the doctor walked up and said, remember we talked about this, that, if he went on his own, that we was going to let him go, because they would have got up on that table and would have broke him all up trying to resuscitate him, and they may have not even been able to get him back. So I was like, well, yeah, we did say that. So I let him go. I love this man with all my heart and soul. We had been together for 25 years, and we were married for 19. I'm going to miss everything about him, his laugh, his smile, the way he held me, the way he touched me, the way he kissed me. I'm just going to miss everything about him. His girls are going to miss him. My 1-year-old probably won't remember him, so we would have to give her memories of him. This is so hard. I never knew my heart could hurt the way my heart hurts. This is the type of pain I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. Who would have thought at 48 years old that my husband would pass away? My best friend is gone. My best friend is gone. This is so hard. And sometimes I have good days. I guess today not one of them. I just miss him. And I wish he can come back to me. But he can't. I have to believe he's here in spirit. He's always in my heart. I gotta do my best to raise my girls. And to make him happy and proud. Yeah. This is hard, yeah.
Oh, look, Mama.
Look at my girls.
Oh.
This is my naked baby girl. And this is my big baby girl. And this is what we...
Why are you crying? crying?
Because I miss you.
Because you've been talking about Daddy.
Yeah. Mwah.
And Jenna's deciding if she wants to.
Oh, you're so sweet.
How long have you been recording?
For 15 minutes now.
Oh.
So I'm going to get off now. My girls are back downstairs. And this one is not going to let me continue to record. So thank y'all. God bless. Hold on to the ones you love. And make sure you tell them you love them. Because life is short. And it goes quickly. So make sure you let them know you love them. Bye.